So what is it about vinyl as opposed to CDs? Because obviously CDs are the first kind of like digitalization of music, and could still be considered like, you know, retro if it's like retro styling that you're looking for. So why is vinyl so much more special?
I like sort of the old school approach to it, a few tracks and change over sort of thing. And in a sense, there's some albums where, so I've got a few, they're in different sections, if you see what I mean with the album. So part one will be the first 4 songs of the album, and that'll be one side of the vinyl, and then part 2 is the next, and each part will tell a different sort of story. So I think with a CD it just kind of rolls over, whereas you get that sort of gap between each side, and that's sort of what does it for me.
Yeah. So you were saying it was your dad that helped you get into it. Do you think you have a similar relationship to vinyl as him?
Yeah, he's definitely a collector. He's been doing it for a long time, and I know he did have CDs, but he went back because obviously vinyl was sort of his childhood. He went back to that, and he's never really looked back. And he prefers having it in different sections. So definitely would say so.
Do you think there's like a future for vinyl, or is it just a phase as like with a lot of retro styling sort of things?
It's hard to tell. I think I'd like to hope there is, and I think there'll always be a certain part of each generation that enjoys vinyl, but with a lot of record stores closing down recently, I think maybe not as much as I'd hope. I think it'll always be relevant, and I think people will always buy it, but I think at the moment it is a bit of a spike in popularity as it's a trend. So a lot of artists have now realised that people are buying vinyl again, so they've started releasing, whereas a lot of other artists have done it throughout. So I think it'll have a bit of a spike and possibly drop in a few years when people go back to CDs and vice versa.
Where do you buy vinyl from now?
Depends really, because a lot of mine, it's quite hard to find hip hop in vinyl record shops, so a lot of them I'd get off Amazon, but if I'm getting most of them, I'd go to a place such as Crash Records most of the time.
Would you say you feel part of a community as a vinyl buyer, consumer?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's a lot of love for vinyl still, and there's a few people that I know that collect some of the ones that I collect, so in that sense, yes, I would say so, but I think it's a different section of the music community. So there's your CD collectors, there's still people who listen to their tapes, and I'd say that, yeah, I would say so on a grander scheme of things that I am.
Why do you think it's become popular again? Why do you think it's had a resurgence in the past like 10 years or so?
I think sort of trends with, it fits in with the trends of, there's a lot of sort of old school fashion coming in, so I think it's sort of like VHS made a bit of a resurgency, but it's a little less accessible than vinyl. And I think people sort of, because with a lot of mine you get posters of the album's sort of cover, so I think it's people have that personalisation, they can have a big version of the album in their room, and I think that's sort of the sense, again going back to the old school vibes. Do
you think you buy vinyl for a different reason to your parents? Like you were saying that compared to Spotify and stuff, it's that nice difference to have like a physical copy of it. So obviously for them, that's all they would have had.
Yeah, I think possibly so, because like you said, they've come from they'd hear it on the radio, and then the only way they'd have it would be buying a physical copy. Whereas, like you said, we've got streaming websites. But I think yes and no, because like I'd say I'm a bit of a collector in the sense that my dad is. So I tried to get all of the Kendrick Lamar albums, all of the Jimi Hendrix albums I can find. So I think that sense, no, but also, as you say, theirs is sort of from their generational, whereas I like to sort of have my own version or copy of it as well, because there's listening online and then there's listening in your own home, and so yeah, both.
Nice. And what is your favourite vinyl?
Favourite I own or favourite in general?
Favourite that you own?
I'd probably say this one is Watch the Throne, Jay-Z, Kanye West. Nice gold tint on it, limited edition. Opens out to something very nice as well, if you bear with me. So it opens out all the way across as a cross.
What does that mean to you? Limited edition.
How do you mean?
So, why is it exciting for you to have such a piece of music as opposed to just streaming the album on Spotify?
It's more personal. I mean, with Spotify, obviously you can listen to it everywhere, but if I want to be sat in my room, I can just go straight through, play the album how it's meant to be played from front to back, and I just think it adds a bit of extra emphasis to your album, because when you've got your sound system as well as your record player, you can alter with the bass and such and listen to it how you intend to.
So do you think there's something special about having a physical copy?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's sort of the ownership over it that you don't really get from your Spotify or your streaming websites.